And welcome to the Technology Geek podcast. I am your host, Brandon Lapani, the Technology Geek. And this is our 14th podcast. And this is the show we do every week where we talk tech, computers, the internet, and anything geek. That's why we're the Technology Geek here. And first thing I want to say right off the bat is of course, talk about our wonderful sponsor at Audible. Audible, a wonderful service that allows you to listen to books on your iPad, Android device, iPad, iPod, any of them. It's a wonderful device, and they have their own app where you can download the actual book right to your device, and it keeps chapters for you and all type of stuff. It's much better than listening to your books on through MP3. With the actual app, you can download it, and it's a subscription-based service. And every book is just one credit, and every month that you're a member, you get a credit. And if you like to try it, you get a free 30-day trial with our offer. audibletrial.com/thetechgeek. You get a free 30-day trial and one download. So it really is a wonderful service, and I'm actually a listener. I use Audible myself. Just such a wonderful service. I haven't found a book I can't get on there. As you know, they are owned by Amazon now, and you get your first 30 days of Audible listening for free. The gold membership plan, is free for 30 days, which includes one audio book credit. And after your 30-day trial is up, you can become a member. And for $14.95 a month after, but you do get, like I said, the first free month free if you use our trial, and that's Audible. That's audibletrial.com/thetechgeek. So that's really a wonderful service. And if you like books, let me tell you something you can't find on there. Everything. Right now, I know a lot of people reading The Hobbit because the movie's going to be coming out on DVD and all that type of stuff. Obviously, The Hunger Games, all those great books are up there. And all just one credit with, and that's one thing too. If you just if you want to read one book, you can go ahead, use our trial, read that one book, and then if you want to cancel, but go ahead and use that free trial as it is available to you. And again, that's audibletrial.com/thetechgeek, so we get the credit for it. And what a wonderful week we had in tech. A lot of news, and we're going to get to all that. I just want to remind everybody you can follow me at Twitter at LapaniTech, and as well as our website, thetechnologygeek.org. And I also want to mention too, as well, you can also submit questions to us, so you can get on our question and answer section, as well as submit articles to us. We do like people. We do like our. We do have some guest authors and all that type of stuff out there, so be more than willing. And that's if you go to our site, the Technology Geek, thetechnologygeek.org, and if you just go up to the top where it says submit. When you go to the top, and it says contact, and then it just says submit to us or write for us, and click on any one of those, and you can go ahead and submit a question to us, and we'll answer it here on the air, or you can go ahead and if you'd like to be a guest author, go ahead and do that. We just had a wonderful guest the other day on the show that submitted a guest article to us, so it's we love people that like to write for us, and it gets more content up there and gets more information out to our listeners and out to our readers. So, like I said, both options are available to you. If anybody, we sure would love to take any of them that you could give us. We always appreciate anything that people submit to us. We do review it over before we post it or before we air it, just to make sure it's factual. But we do appreciate everything that everybody submits to us. So feel free to join the community and help out with the site. And again, the site is free. We don't charge for any of our content, any of our podcasts, anything like that. So it's all free. So we appreciate people do write for us for free because it does save us some money. One thing I want to say, the podcast now available on tunein.com, wonderful service. They have actually written about them once or twice before. We're also available now. All of our podcasts are available on last.fm and on the Zune marketplace for those of you that are still running a Zoom or using the Xbox 360. All of our podcasts are available to us. Our listeners did request that, so we went ahead and we did that this past week. So always moving along here on the Technology Geek, moving along as technology does. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people that had questions about. Now we're going to get to the news here, the tech news this week as well, folks. But first, I just want to talk. I like to always talk about some of the stuff that our readers write about or send to us. And one of the things that a lot of people had mentioned was about the difference between Cloud Office and Cloud Adobe versus the regular downloaded Adobe. And that's such a good question. Especially with Adobe, one of the reasons why they wanted to go subscription based is to keep people up to date and to keep everybody on the same level, so they don't have to support the old versions. I know a lot of people are back, like maybe 3 or even 4 versions of CS. I mean, some people are still on CS3 and we're up to 6 or 7 now. So that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. And then the other reason why they're doing it too is, the one they're worried about piracy, and two, is the big issue with. Especially with Adobe, we'll get to Office in a minute, but the big thing with Adobe is, they're really trying to, really trying to keep everybody up to date, and as well as too with security and all type of stuff. But the other thing is too, you can work out in the cloud, so you can do it from your iPad, iPhone, tablets, all that type of stuff. So they're really trying to move to these cloud-based services, especially with Adobe, the cloud-based workshop. They're really trying to do that to really try to get people to, really work out in the cloud, so that they don't have to support the old versions, and that you can work from your iPad, tablet. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe even AutoCAD is going to be doing a cloud-based version now too. I know that Cloud Office is like that. Now, the only issue with the cloud versions versus the there's a couple of good things about it. Like with Adobe, the cloud version of Adobe, you don't have to buy the whole suite like they used to have to before. You can just buy specific services from them, and it's a subscription based. I mean, if you look at what the subscription costs, it would cost you about the same as it would if you'd buy the whole subscription. So, I mean, I think overall you're going to be spending about the same type of money, but you could even get a discount, especially if you only want one specific service. I think, let's say, the majority of people that buy CS3 just want Photoshop. So, I mean, it's, they're offering with Adobe now, they're offering you just the ability to just get that one particular service rather than the whole thing. So it could save. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to, even by doing this, allowing you to just buy 1 or 2 services and allowing you to do a subscription basis, they're trying to compete with the companies that are far cheaper. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. Obviously, Adobe, one of their big competitors is obviously GIMP because it's free. But with this, it might actually, pull people away from GIMP for the simple reason is, they don't, they don't have to, they instead of going with, free GIMP and struggling with the if there is any compatibility issues, they can just get a product they know, they've trained on, and, just pay a little subscription every month. And I think that's the way most services are going to go, subscription-based. Office, like I said, the same way. You can get Office 365. They're not so much breaking down the services, but they're offering the cloud-based Office and working out in the cloud and all that type of stuff. But they're doing it a little bit different. They're not so much breaking up the services like Adobe is, but they're doing something very similar to them. So. And, one of the other things is, too, with the cloud versions, like I said, if you download it, you only have one license for one computer unless you buy a volume license. With this, if you buy it, you can work on multiple computers with it and all that type of stuff. So it is really, it is a good thing in a way, but it's also a bad thing in a way, too. If you lose internet connection, obviously you can't, can't do what you want to do. But there are some limitations as well to the Cloud Office, by the way. There are things you can't do in the Cloud Office that you can do on the regular Office that you download on your machine. So that's just something to think about as well if you are looking at doing a purchase anytime soon. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I really think it really depends on on what your needs are. Is really what I tell people all the time. So, but one of the other things as well that somebody had mentioned to us, which I thought was an interesting thing that they were asking about. Talking about commercials. And when they originally had sent me the email, I really thought they were talking about our show. And it turns out they were talking about the way a lot of commercials have... technology has really changed the way commercials are handled, in the industry. As a lot of people know, and I just want to make it clear right now, I really don't watch soap operas, but somebody had mentioned that Days of Our Lives and that they've built commercials actually right into the show for companies like Cheerios and Dr. Pepper, stuff like that. I know 90210 had did that as well. For those of you that watch Bones, they always work in the car ads right into it. They'll get in a car and they'll start driving and they'll start talking about the new features of the car and all that they have. And 2.5 Men was one of the first ones that started doing this with the Apple devices. I remember Charlie Sheen would always make phone calls and all that type of stuff to his girlfriends and all that type of stuff off his iPhone. So, they're working commercials right, and they have to because with DVRs and TiVos and Slingboxes and obviously now the Hopper. We've all heard the controversy with that. They have to. They don't have a choice. They have to do stuff like that. So. That's what they're doing, and I think it's a good. I think it's it's definitely changing the way we take TV and the way that things are presented to us now. I think in a way it adds to the show and takes away too at the same time. But I think these companies have to do that because and the other reason why they're doing this too, ladies and gentlemen, is because viewership is so down on these shows that these shows directly have to make money rather than relying on the network to pay them their commercial rights. They have to actually go out and get sponsors themselves so that the show can make money directly on commercials rather than waiting for their commercial rights and all that to come down from the big network. So that's the other reason why they're doing it too. And it was an interesting thing that somebody had brought up, and I guess you don't really realize it at times, but it does make, a lot of sense as to why they're doing stuff like that, and a lot of, and I think part of this comes from, and not to say anything about podcasting because obviously I'm probably a little partial to podcasts, but all podcasts, the Twit Network, Alex Jones. A lot of those, and I think this really first started really with Sirius Radio, is that they would have the hosts read the ads and get a quick ad in within a minute or two, and then go back to the show again, to not to lose their audience. And I think a lot of people realize the power of that, and I think that's part of the reason why they've gone in this direction as well. I remember when I first started listening to Sirius, Opie and Anthony would read the ad, and then boom, you're right back into the show, so you didn't really lose the audience, whereas you would. When you go to commercials after 10, 15 minutes, your audience has a chance to tune out. And I think that's one of the reasons why the talk radio really is one of the ones, and podcasts really ones that really started this, and now the televisions have picked up on it. Especially with, obviously, the Hopper and the TiVo, people fast-forwarding or skipping right over the commercials. They had to do something, so. But I just wanted to bring that up, because that was something that we had a discussion with somebody on IRC chat the other day about that. Oh, by the way, folks, if you go to our website, thetechnologygeek.org, you can go ahead and right underneath right underneath multimedia, you see there's a live chat, and it'll drop you into our IRC channel if you want to go ahead and chat with some people about any tech problems you have or anything like that, and also to our forums under there as well. And the other thing, too, that was kind of neat was they were saying that 85% of Netflix users not going to leave Netflix because of House of Cards, Netflix and original series. Now, I'm not going to lie. I did start watching it. I'm on, I think, episode 3 right now. I'm probably going to try to take in another episode possibly tonight if I can. It's really a wonderful show, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. If you have Netflix, it definitely is worth going ahead and taking a look at that. It definitely is a wonderful show. I can honestly see it. It means it's professionally done. It's one of the better shows, I would say. I'm really surprised that HBO didn't pay more to pick it up. I'm glad Netflix took it, but because I don't have HBO. But I'm really surprised a big network like that didn't pay more to try to get another network. It really is wonderfully done. And I'm not going to don't want to give me the storyline away, obviously, but it is really great. And I really like the way Netflix did it, releasing all the episodes at once so I can take them in as I feel. I watched 3 this week alone, so. But it really is. And what they've said is, it really paid off for Netflix spending money on an original series because it does keep the people having subscriptions because they do want to watch the Netflix original series. So one of the things that I personally would love them to do, and I remember it was going to happen, but I think it fell through, was do a second season of Terra Nova. I would be really thrilled if Netflix would pick that show up and put another season of that. And that was a great show that CW really dropped the ball on. But that would have been another great show for them to pick up and do a season of. And they were going to do it, but it fell through. But again, House of Cards, wonderful. It stars David, Kevin. Well, I think it's David Spade. I'm thinking, and somebody else. I'm really not good with actress and actress's name, but it really is just a wonderful program. And if you have Netflix, it'd definitely be worth watching. Episodes about 40-some minutes each long. It's really good, actually. No commercials or anything like that. It's really great, and I like it. So I just want to bring that up for those of you that are looking for some good programming on a night, on a snowy night or something like that. I know over here on the East Coast we had a little ice and didn't go anywhere last night, so I picked up one episode. So definitely is worth watching for those of you that are into that type of television and drama shows. One of the other things I wanted to bring up was that a couple people had brought this up to me, and I wasn't really sure if it was really tech related, but after they explained it to me, it was. Is the whole situation of drone ownership, and I had at first I had mixed feelings about these drones flying around, personal drone ownership, but after looking at it, how computerized it is, it really isn't. Anybody can take something. We've talked to this before in the past about BitTorrent and stuff like that, how people use good services for bad things. We've talked about this before in the past, and the same thing goes with this. You're really in photography and want really aerial, great-looking photos. You can purchase a small drone for like $300. You can purchase one of the big ones for about $3,000. But you could take a lot of aerial photos with them. There's so much that you can do with these drones. I know somebody was saying that they fly them up to some of the bigger towers and get aerial views from the big towers and stuff like that, where you could never do that with, you can never, how else would you take pictures like that? You have to be careful. There are limitations to height. I believe it's 400 feet in residential areas, but you can actually, what the people do is you can fly them with like a handheld remote, or you can set them to take pictures and then come back to you. There's a lot of things you can do. I don't know an incredible amount about them, only what I've read and what I've seen and what I've heard. Anthony from the radio show on SiriusXM, Opie and Anthony, he owns one. He constantly is posting videos on his YouTube channel about them, and it really is interesting. And I really do, do enjoy looking at the aerial pictures and the really, really defined pictures. The cameras on them are very clear, and you can zoom in and all that type of stuff. And no matter which way the drone turns, it stays stationed. So it's really, really fabulous camera and a fabulous technology that's going to be available to civilians now. I know they were saying that some of the ones that were coming back from overseas were going to be sold to some local state and amenities like police officers and stuff like that, so that they can use them. For local issues, stuff like that. And I know there's a lot of controversy over that, and I don't really want to get into the controversy surrounding it. That's for a political show on one of these. We're not a political show, and I don't really want to get into that. But as far as the technology goes, it's really great that it's available to the average consumer now. And if you're into photography and aerial photos, some of that, $3,000 is a lot of money, but if that's something you're really into. 3,000 compared to how many, tens and twenties of thousands they were a few years ago. Businesses or professional photography companies, some of that. I know there are actually a couple of photography blogs that we deal with that have actually went and purchased one for the cheap one for $200. And, they take great aerial pictures, and that's something you're interested in. It's definitely worth the buy. And I know there are other companies as well with, small people. I know a couple of friends of mine are big into airplanes. They have pilot licenses and all that. They actually went and bought one of the bigger ones so that they could fly it and take their feet off the ground and take aerial pictures. They said it's cheaper than spending money on their plane fuel to take aerial pictures. So, it's a wonderful technology available to the average consumer now. I know there's some controversy over it, but we're not going to get into that here on this show. That's for another show. You can email or call one of the political shows and talk to them about it. We're not going to get into that. We're just into the technology end of it. And it is really, really kind of cool. So just want to let people know that is out there. And like I said, I know it is, they are looking to sell it to, local and state amenities to to use for monitoring and for dealing with issues and all that type of stuff. And there's some controversy over that. And again, we're not getting into that, but as a consumer, it is really cool. It is really geek, and I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on that. And it is kind of cool. I think I really do like it. I really do like the technology end of it. So I thought it was kind of cool. So let's see, what else are we going to talk about this week? Well, so much going on in tech news this week. Earlier in the week, Bill Gates saying he wasn't satisfied with Microsoft's innovation in the way they handled the mobile market. And Microsoft really, I remember probably maybe back in 2005, maybe. Windows Mobile was really popular on the Sprint phones and all that type of stuff, but Microsoft really fell behind on that and didn't keep up on it. They probably could have owned that market too if they would have really pushed hard enough. But Bill Gates seemed not happy with the direction him and Ballmer went with it, and that they have such a small piece of the market and they can't grab any more of it. They've tried, and I think the Windows Phone is definitely really cool, but it's not something I would go out and purchase myself. So I think they pretty much have lost the market to Android and most of all Apple. So when he was saying he wasn't happy with the way it was handled, and I think he knows they messed up. So by the way, Microsoft has raised the price of Office for the Mac by 17%. That was a neat article I saw the other day. I don't know if they're trying to discourage it or if it's cost more to develop. They're not really saying much about it. I know Microsoft as well as Adobe had been taking some heat from Australia over the last couple of weeks over why is it so much money to buy Office or Adobe over in Australia. They were saying people would actually fly to America just to buy the product and then fly back, and it was still cheaper than buying it over there. And I guess now Microsoft and Adobe now are going ahead and making all sales equal across the board for all the other countries. So I thought that was kind of a neat thing. They're saying Microsoft obviously moves Outlook.com out of preview, and we know why they're doing that. Obviously, is to try to. They're going to be closing down Hotmail. I've looked on the internet, and there's so many different dates on when they're closing down Hotmail. If anybody knows the exact date for sure and can back it up, let me know, because there's so many different dates out there with something like that. I'd like to go ahead and get an exact date on that. So if you got that information, go ahead and send it over to me. I'd be more than happy to post it up on the site. They want to shut Hotmail down and move everybody over to Outlook. And, a lot of people are complaining about Outlook because you can't download attachments and you have to open them right in the cloud. And there's a reason for that. Microsoft wants you to keep all your stuff out in the cloud. I mean, that's the whole point of it, is they don't want you to be downloading your email locally. They want to save it up in the cloud so that they can kind of leverage it like Google does. So, I mean, again, that's part of the whole, process and part of what the downside is to some of the cloud stuff. So, the other thing is Apple is obviously lowering their prices on a lot of their existing products, their MacBook specifically. And this is really uncharacteristic of Apple to lower a product after it's ready in production. They haven't said exactly why yet. There's some speculation over it, but we don't have an exact answer. But I mean, very, very uncharacteristic of Apple to lower the price of a product actually while it's in production. And I'm really curious as to why they're doing that, but they're being very, very hush-hush about it. And obviously I don't know why, but they are going to release like a cheaper iPhone. They're going to release a cheaper iPad, and they're saying they're going to have cheaper versions of the product. And I'm not really sure why they're doing it. They're not saying why they're doing it, but obviously they're doing it, I think, to compete with some of the lower end, cheaper products. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, it looks like they might actually unveil an iPhone mini this summer. That's what the speculation is saying. But obviously it's all rumor. Nothing is in stone yet. And I'm going to tell you the truth, one of the things I've tried to do with this show is try to eliminate the rumor mills, because, there's so much tech rumor out there. It's unbelievable. I try to really not deliver anybody the news until I really know for sure what's going to happen, because I've kind of over the years gotten sick of reading all the rumor mills and then nothing ever happens. I mean, let's take a look at, I just installed an Office Server 2012 this past week, and they're supposed to be with that limited user mode. Remember, we heard about that for months and months on the internet, and that never pulled through. So that's why I really try to, try not to give people news until I'm sure about it. Because over the years, the rumor mills have really gotten a little bit out of hand at times. But one thing that's kind of neat is Google actually removed the asteroid doodle the other day because of some controversy over it, and I guess that there was some issues over it, and Apple. I'm sorry. Google received some issues over. It's not really something to celebrate that it was a near miss. The company. It offered them, which really, changed, its doodle very quickly. It was a nerd thing leaning towards the asteroid and all type of stuff. But it pretty much, it wasn't really appropriate, is what people are saying. Google explained ABC News, out of respect for those injured in the extraordinary meteor shower in Russia earlier. They removed the doodle, so not to really insult anybody. But, it was something that was kind of a little bit of it was kind of inappropriate. One of the people that we always talked about a lot, and we have posted some of his speeches from CNN and some of his interviews from other products, is Kevin Mitnick. And he is actually, from what I'm reading here, he was one of the most wanted security people for his antics in the early 90s, and he created his own security consulting firm, and now he is actually working on securing the presidential elections in Ecuador, providing them with security news and providing them with how to lock down their systems that they're using for tabulating the electoral votes and actually the machines themselves, helping them lock them down and a lot of type of stuff, eliminating cyber threats from their government's websites, and really working a lot with their government in helping them lock down their systems for the upcoming election. So it's kind of neat. I always like to bring him up. I did read all of his books, and really bright guy and all that type of stuff. And it's kind of neat seeing him work in Ecuador and really be helping out with the presidential election, all that type of stuff. So good for him, and look forward to seeing any upcoming news from him. I follow his Twitter stream. His Twitter stream is actually quite entertaining. During that whole situation with McAfee, he was always giving out tips what McAfee should do and all that type of stuff. It was really entertaining. So for any of you that want to follow his Twitter stream, it actually is quite good. One of the other things too this week was Yahoo launched a new homepage with an endless news feed. That was kind of neat. I was kind of a little bit interested in. I do read Yahoo myself. I like to see what's trending and all that type of stuff. I think it's really cool, and I like to see what other news is at the top. And the page didn't change that much, but just enough to look a little more. I guess have a little more of that hip new look. Yahoo doesn't change their homepage very often, but they finally did after quite a while. So it was neat to see them change their homepage and to give us all a new look and feel to enjoy. So one of the things, a lot of people are going over to Yahoo now as their homepage because Google's getting rid of iGoogle. And I've noticed a lot of people have been jumping over to Yahoo for their homepage because they can customize it, where you won't be able to customize Google anymore because iGoogle's going away. So that's kind of neat. And you wonder if Google will actually even bring iGoogle back because they don't want to lose anybody to Yahoo. Yahoo's becoming more of a media company than it is a search engine anymore. But again, it's one of those things where it'd be kind of surprising if Google didn't do something to get back those people that they lost. So, Microsoft actually, we talked about Office 2013 a little while ago, and then on the last podcast. But apparently, Office is now going to go ahead and they addressed the confusion over Office, and saying that Office 365 is only going to be $9.99. for a year, and saying that Office 360 is going to be accessible on multiple devices, and they're likely to continue as a subscription service. And they're saying too, they possibly with Office 365, obviously you have the Sky Drive, and obviously they're going to also they are going to include Outlook, Access, and Publisher as part of that. So I was kind of neat to see that. And then also too, they also threw in that they're going to offer 60 minutes of Skype calls, free Skype calls with that. So that's kind of they're trying to clear up the confusion. And the other thing too is that they're going to the University Edition is going to be included for PC, Mac, and tablet. Since Office 365 requires an annual subscription, Microsoft's they stand to make more money, obviously, but the home and office student cost outright is going to be $139. The home office and business, obviously $219 a year, and then Office Professional, obviously is $399.99, $400 a year. So they're trying to clear up the confusion, because I guess a lot of people aren't really sure, and myself included, aren't sure exactly how the licensing is going to work or what's included with everything. It's actually quite confusing. They're trying to bundle just so much with it that it's actually making it hard to really understand. But we're doing our best to try to explain it to you as we understand it. So the other thing is talking about things changing. We talked about Yahoo changing their homepage. Apple updates iTunes with a new Composers view. So that was a little bit different. They were trying to go ahead and trying to change up iTunes, and iTunes has changed their look quite a bit over the last couple of months. And I don't have a problem with the new look and feel. It'll take a little getting used to, but it's definitely kind of neat. The other thing that we had talked about, we had blogged about it the other day, was talking about that whole situation with Scott Brown saying that he had pocket tweeted, and I guess we kind of tore apart that whole controversy right on the site, talking about how the screen is designed to be used with finger touch. You can't use the screen through gloves or anything like that, and then talk about how Siri has voice commands and all that type of stuff. It's a great article. You can find it up on technologygeek.org. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you can find it right up there. It's one of this week's posts, so go ahead and look for it if you're interested. And we have, let's see, what else do we have here to talk about? Obviously, Mega now, Kim.com, he talked about Mega the other day, tweeted it, and was talking about Bitcoin, how Mega's going to start accepting Bitcoins. And you kind of figured they were going to do, in that being a security company, they would like to use Bitcoin because it's, a particular currency that can't be traced back or anything like that. It doesn't have any ownership claim to it. Saying that too, Mega is going to, they're a security company, privacy company, and that they're going to branch out into email, chat, voice, video, and mobile coming soon. And they were saying too that that since where they're based out of, it could actually be more secure than Gmail or any of the other ones. So that's kind of the watch. It's a very controversial company. I like to keep an eye on that. And talking about things that have been changing, a lot of places rolled out different interfaces. Is eBay obviously rolled out a new homepage to all of its users this week. So that another website that took the liberty of updating an interface, changing. They've changed quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. They've changed quite a bit, their interfaces, their looks, their feels, and all that type of stuff. So eBay is one of those companies that were struggling there for a little while, but now they're doing great, so good for them. And we do like eBay. We have our own eBay store. You can find all of our stuff, by the way, aacrstore.com. Our store, you can find all of our stuff up there. And, something for everybody up there. But, yeah, we do have an eBay store. We sell products and all type of stuff. Got to, keep the site up and keep the site going. Got to make some money with it. So, we use the eBay funds to help pay for the site and pay so we can keep the site up and running. So we do appreciate any sales that are from there. Again, that's aacrstore.com. One of the things, too, that's neat is iOS 6.1.2 fixes that the Exchange battery drain bug. That's new. So if you have an iPhone, go ahead and you might want to go ahead and just update your iPhone so you can fix the bugs in iOS 6. a lot of updates with iOS 6, I noticed. It was uncharacteristic of Apple to release a lot of updates like this, but they've been really, for a while they were only releasing 1 or 2 updates a year. Now they're releasing updates regularly for the iPhone. So, it's one of those things where, they're trying to constantly keep updating things and constantly keep fixing things to help make their product competitive with all the other brands out there. Obviously, I was reading an article this week that they did take the number 1 spot again as the top selling phone. But we'll see what happens as the new S3 rolls out S4 rolls out. Samsung Galaxy S4 rolls out. We'll see how that goes. So we'll see what happens. I think at this point, the major competitor in the mobile market is definitely Google and Apple, and we'll see what Apple does to really keep up with the market. And obviously Google has to do the same thing if they want to stay competitive. So Mozilla, by the way, rolled out their Firefox 19 with a native PDF viewer, obviously keeping up with Google's Chrome, because obviously they have a native PDF viewer as well. That was kind of neat. I do like Firefox myself. However, I've noticed it's gotten a little bit slow lately. I know they've been working on it, but we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we talked about Apple quite a bit, but on there, Apple's saying that they plan to launch a MacBook Air with a Retina display, but we need to see how that is. Again, I'm not going to go into the rumor mill here, but that's something neat that they've been talking about. The Ubuntu for tablets, obviously announced and released this week. Obviously we wrote about it. You can find it up on the technologygeek.org. But the Ubuntu for tablets, all the information's up there. You can actually run this on any Samsung or Nexus phone that's running the Droid OS already. Not sure if it's something I'm going to jump right on, but I am a big Ubuntu fan. It's definitely got that this is cool look going for it, but we'll see how it goes over the next couple of weeks and see what it can actually do. I'll be keeping an eye on it myself. I'm very curious as to how this is how it's going to work. I'm actually thinking I have a Kindle Fire, first generation Kindle Fire. Curious about. I'm thinking about loading it on there. We'll see what happens with that. By the way, I'll keep you up to date on it. Thinking about doing that. Obviously, the White House this week talked about WikiLeaks and Julia Assange and Luzek and how they're going after them and how they're basically, terrorists and all that type of stuff. And they released a plan, what they're going to do to help fight piracy, what they're going to do to fight copyright, what they're going to do to fight all this. And they released a whole plan. I'm not going to go ahead and this is a massive document they released. How to protect U.S. trade secrets. I'm not going to release all of it. I'll put it up in the show notes. If you want to go ahead and read that, you can go ahead. I'm not going to read all that. But you can go ahead and look at that. I'll post it up on the show notes. Obviously, another patch released for Adobe this week to patch the vulnerabilities. That's something you might want. If you have Adobe, go ahead and update it. Obviously, they patched a critical Adobe patch this week. So Oracle really, I'm sorry, not Oracle, but Adobe really has always had problems with security with any of their products as well as Oracle had. So their patch, I see they're coming. The patch cycles are becoming quicker and quicker, which is good for everybody. Keeps us all patched and up to date. So Anonymous obviously dumped 600,000 emails from the most popular Israeli web portal that was up on the hackernews.com the other day. They actually had their Twitter account hacked this week, which is kind of neat to see Anonymous get hacked for a change. But their Twitter got hacked this week, and then they hacked it back and retook it back over. So something, more of the hacker war is still going on. But there was something I just wanted to bring up. There's more of the foreign hacking going on right now. Microsoft, obviously, today, joining the list of hacked companies, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, Apple, Facebook, NBC.com just recently, all been a victim of cyber attacks. Microsoft just got hacked today. I think it was yesterday. Let me fact check that before I say it. But I believe it was just an article released today. And it's been over the past couple of weeks that, there's been a lot of hacks, obviously. There's obviously a vulnerability right now on Facebook that allows you to hack somebody else's account. They're going to go ahead and patch that from what I heard. But apparently, Microsoft, obviously one of the companies that got hacked. Facebook dealt with their vulnerability. they're saying that obviously Burger King's Twitter got hacked, but now they're saying that it's all related to the Chinese military is behind all this. I don't know if they really know yet, but Microsoft obviously again, Microsoft and other social networking sites have been really the target. Apple obviously was a target. It's crazy right now on the internet. But all this hacking stuff going on. But just wanted to let everybody know that Microsoft has joined the list of companies hacked. And there were some couple questions about Microsoft vulnerabilities and stuff, and our questions that are going to be coming up shortly. But we'll get to those in a little bit. But there was some questions on Microsoft vulnerabilities, and I'll go ahead and address those later on because I do want to get your questions. Also, by the way, the touchscreen interface for the Google Chromebook Pixel really having a hefty price, but let me tell you, I was taking a look at it. It does look a lot like a MacBook, by the way. It's Intel powered, by the way. It looks really, really nice. And 1 terabyte of cloud storage. It's got 4G. It's got the cloud-based OS from Google. Chrome. Really, really. I don't know. I don't know if it really. I think it's good. I don't know if it compares to the Windows and the Mac software yet, especially with a price tag of $1,300. It does include touchscreen support. It does have a very, very high Retina display on it. It comes with 3 years of free 1 terabyte cloud storage and has 4G built in. But again, for $1,300, I'm not sure if it really shapes up. So we'll see what happens with that. I have not played with one yet. I've been trying to find one that I can play with, but I have not been able to get my hands on one. So if anybody has played with it, we'd really appreciate you submitting us a review so we can put it up on the site. Those of you that are listening, like I said, we enjoy the free authored posts, and we do get them up there because we really do like it. Getting somebody else's view besides my own or some of the other people that write for us. Getting somebody else's view, an outsider's review, outsider looking in type of review. So it's really, we do really enjoy it. And please feel free anytime you want to submit anything, go ahead and just submit it to us, and we'll get it up there once we fact check it and read it over for typo errors or anything like that. So we do appreciate that. So please feel free anytime, just go ahead and submit information to us. We do enjoy it. Some of the other things, obviously, Sony unveiling the PS4 this week. Definitely a big piece of news there. A lot of people have been waiting for that, especially after how PS3 struggled with their network. I don't want to get too much into it. It definitely is something that I think is very innovative. I'm sure Microsoft is going to have to step their game up with a new Xbox if they're going to compete with this. Which I'm sure Microsoft, they're the dominant ones right now, so I'm sure they'll do their best to maintain their dominance, especially in a market that they really need to maintain dominance because they really, like we talked before, they lost the phone market, so I'm sure they're going to push hard to keep the dominance in this market. But, it's going to be launching for Christmas of 2013. The specs, obviously, it's an AMD x86-based 8-core CPU. An enhanced GPU. It's got a Blu-ray, DVD, HDMI output, 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Apparently it's still going to be compatible with the old games. A lot of people saying it won't be compatible, but then I read things that saying it is going to be compatible. The way it's going to be is you're going to be able to. What's going to happen is you're going to be able to stream the old PS3 games and old generation games online. So they are trying to phase out the old media, but you're still going to be able to stream the old PS3 games off the internet. So that's really cool. Again, more of this show of how everything's going out in the cloud. There'll be a PlayStation app for the iPhone, iPad, and Android. For secondary screens, you'll be able to, the PlayStation 4i, which will have a 1280 by 800 camera, which obviously the Kinect still features. You're obviously going to be able to have Along with that, obviously, you're going to be able to tape your games and put them up on Ustream Live with your friends. Really some innovative things that I'd be interesting to see what Microsoft actually does with it to compete with it. I really think this is really innovative until we see what Xbox does. Xbox could come out with something even better than that, but for right now, I think that's definitely the tops as far as innovation goes. So it'd be neat to see what they're going to do with this. And PlayStation has already said they're aiming, they want to make their consoles more like PCs so that people can upgrade them and stuff like that. So, but I think this whole PlayStation 3 is definitely one, showing the integration with the cloud. Two, definitely, integrating with Ustream and all types of stuff is something that everybody has wanted to do. And three, I think the whole fact that you're going to be able to play the old games via streaming is just more of showing you how they're letting people keep the old media in a different fashion. So, very neat to see. Just another thing too, since we are talking about Apple products a lot today, Facebook adding free calling to the iOS app. I thought that was kind of neat. One of the things I don't like about that is it lets now Facebook knows who you're calling. Not only do they know who's on your contact list, but they let you know who you're calling and when you're calling them. So a little more of that Big Brother thing that I don't particularly care about, but it is what it is. The other thing too, by the way, I was reading the Drudge Report this morning, which I do like reading. I'm not a huge political person, but I do like the Drudge Report. I do like Infowars.com. And I do like Alex Jones's podcast. It is really good. He also has a radio show, but I'm not able to get it where I am. Could listen to it streaming, but I just like the podcast because it skips right over the commercials. What's kind of neat, folks, is talking about podcasting and all type of stuff. A lot of them are like this Alex Jones show, Leah Laporte show, all those shows. If you listen to them on the radio, they're almost 3.5, 4 hours. Listen to the podcast; it's an hour and a half. It just shows you how much commercials are involved in AM radio. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'm sure people notice it, but I just wanted to bring that up. But again, I was on the Drudge Report, and they were saying that toxic vapors were seeping from underneath of one of Google's buildings in Mountain View in Silicon Valley. Google's building QD6 and QD7, which, sit on top of North Windsor Road. They say pretty much there was some leaking of some toxic vapors that were leaking. Apparently, they addressed it recently. Air samples were collected. They did something. Google released a statement saying the health and safety of our employees is the number one priority, and we took several precautionary measures to ensure that the healthiest indoor air environment. Google went ahead and actually added things to the building, and they actually have taken the levels down, and the companies, the company workers now at minimal exposure, and Google was very quick in the response and all type of stuff, but they actually added air filters and all this type of stuff to the building to make sure that people inside are very well taken care of. So it just shows you, Google was rated one of the top places to work, and it just proves it how much they take care of their employees, and they are truly, I believe, one of the greatest places to work. Them and Apple are actually two of the top companies in the world listed to work for. So that's really great and good for them. And it just shows you, like I said, how much they care about the employees, how quickly they jumped on this. So, and I believe that was all I have this week as far as the news goes. What we'll do is I'll jump into a quick commercial, and then we will go ahead and jump over your questions. There are quite a few of them this week, quite a few good ones, and we'll get to those here in just a minute. And again, I just want to go ahead and reiterate that our podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible, you can go ahead and get a free 30-day trial from our sponsor, audibleaffiliate.com/thetechgeek. Again, a wonderful service, and go ahead and download and listen to any books you like. You get a free 30-day trial with us, and you get one free download. So go ahead and try it. They have, like I said, you have they have an app for the iPhone, Android, and iPad, and it's really a wonderful service. And if you like to read like I do, it's great because you can listen to it while you're at the gym, while you're on the go in your car, and it's really a wonderful service. So go ahead and again, it's audibletrial.com/thetechgeek, so we get the credit for it. And this week we had a wonderful array of questions. The first question that we had is, where can I learn more about Windows vulnerability as I am administering a Microsoft network? There's actually some really good books out there on Windows hacking and Windows vulnerabilities. The one I recommend is a new one that just came out just recently. I did read it. It was Hacking Exposed, like Windows Security Secrets and Standards, 3rd edition. And what I'll do is, it's available on Amazon for the Kindle or for e-readers, as well as about paperback and all that type of stuff. So I don't know if anybody buys paperbacks anymore, but it is available with paperback. So it's available. Like I said, that's up there, and I'll put the link in the show notes for everybody, so you can go ahead and take a look at that, see if you're interested. But that's what I'd recommend for you if you're going to be administering a Microsoft network, because it'll let you know where a lot of the vulnerability issues and all that type of stuff are. My personal experience, our IIS is a big security issue, as well as a couple of other ones. Obviously, SQL, big security problem there. Those are the ones you're really going to have to watch out for. Anything that obviously faces out to the internet is more of a target than something that's behind your firewall. But again, either way, you need to be careful with both. So that'll help you out with that. How can I get a faster streaming speed out of my Roku? Use wireless. Should I use wired? If you have the ability to do wired, it wouldn't hurt. You wouldn't have to deal with you'd get a much better processor speed out of it, because it wouldn't have to worry about decrypting the wireless when it's sending data back and forth. Obviously, you're dealing with a direct connection, so you don't have to worry about the device losing connection or anything like that. I guess if you're looking for a faster streaming speed, the wired will give you it'll be better with what you have. If you want faster streaming, you're going to have to probably update your internet from your ISP. But again, if you want, those couple suggestions will give you probably the most for what you have right now. Sometimes when you're dealing with wireless, obviously you don't get as good quality as you should have out of the Roku, because it's got to, decrypt the traffic and all that type of stuff. And then obviously if you're far away from your router, you have to deal with dropping connection and buffering and all type of stuff. So I would hardwire in if you can to get the most out of your product. If not, like I said, you're going to have to update your ISP, or you're going to have to make some adjustments with your router setup. It really all depends on how you have it laid out, but those are the couple of suggestions I have for you. How can I improve my online marketing presence on the internet? Just some of the basic stuff. Obviously have a Google Analytics account hooked to your website. Obviously use Google Webmaster Tools. Blog, if you don't already do that from your sites, you get the backlinks and the word count. There's a lot of stuff you could do. There are companies that handle that. We handle that here. We do offer a service for that. If you're interested, you can go under our services section of our website, and it's there. There's a couple things you could really do that will help you out tremendously. Obviously, the Google Analytics, the Google Webmaster Tools, and some free pay-per-click stuff. So, if you're interested in our services or interested at all, you can hit up the forum, or you can go ahead and contact us. We can help you out with that. But there's a lot involved with that. It's more than what I could probably explain to you over the internet right now. So, if you want to drop me an email, I can even give you more information. So, what's the best note-taking app for the Android for a college student? I like Color Note. That's a really good free one. Allows you to color code all your notes. I use it on my phone all the time. There's so many free ones out there. Just go to the Android store and just pick one. But I like Color Note. That's the one I use. But there's so many different ones out there. You're going to have to just look. There's tons of them out there. So go ahead and just take a look. How can I extend my Wi-Fi connection on my Linksys? Well, I'm not sure how your home is laid out, but what you could do is move your Wi-Fi out of your computer room into more of an open area. That's one option. The other thing you could do is Linksys does sell an extender that you can buy that'll boost the signal. That's an option as well. They're about maybe $60-$80, but that's another option for you as well. There's older homes, especially, and older apartment buildings, I've noticed, have the most problems because of the metal just absorbs wireless signals, and that's been a problem with wireless as well as any ham radio operator. They've always had to deal with that stuff too. So go ahead and just your booster might be the best option, or moving it out of your computer room might be a good option for you. One of the things that's funny is I've talked to quite a few people, and they're saying they're in the city, and they say that their 4G is actually faster than their wireless, which is kind of funny. What smartphone carrier should I go with, and why? Geez, there's so many nowadays. Obviously, the two big major ones are AT&T and Verizon. Sprint's a pretty big one, but the best coverage is going to be through AT&T or Verizon. Obviously, you have Sprint and T-Mobile, maybe a little cheaper, but I've noticed I had Sprint and T-Mobile myself, and I got off of them because I didn't get the coverage that I wanted. Trying to stick with the major carriers, trying not to stick with the small ones, because the major carriers are going to have more coverage, more towers, stuff like that. And then the smartphone, obviously, iPhone or Android, or Windows Phone, you have a lot of options there. The other thing, too, if you're looking for a specific type of phone, make sure the carrier you're going to go with has that specific type of phone before you go inside a contract with them. And also check on the data plan usage that you're going to get with them as well. How do I disable screen rotation on the Android? Well, that's an easy one. Obviously, I have my phone actually right here. You can actually just go ahead and just drop down the screen, and you'll see screen rotation. Just hit it and turn it off. That's an easy one. I don't like the screen rotation myself either. I turn it on when I need it. I really don't care for it myself, so I turn it off unless I really need it. And the other thing is, too, if your screen rotation is off, you can still take the pictures in landscape. A lot of people don't know that. Just because the screen rotation's off doesn't mean the camera rotation's off. That's something a lot of people don't know. I need a phone system for my small business. What do you suggest? Well, it really depends on what you want to do with that. I'm not sure exactly how many phones you're going to need. There's a couple things you could do with that. You could actually go ahead and get like a Nortel system, which are generally the cheapest out there as far as small business phone systems. If you're gonna have people that are on the road a lot and people that are only gonna be in once or twice a week, you can use a company like Ring Central. Where it's a cloud-based phone system. I'm really not sure exactly what you need to do, but those are your options. You can go with like Ring Central, and get a cloud-based phone system, which is great. By the way, they're not a sponsor, but they do have sponsors on other podcasts. We haven't really, not that we can't have them as a sponsor. We just haven't reached out to them yet. Ring Central is a good one, and the only reason why I know that is because I have actually personally used them. Where people use their personal cell phones and they make calls right through the Ring Central app, and it looks like it's coming right from the 1-800 number. When they call in, if they're in the office and people dial their extension, it goes right to their cell phone through the app. So you have that option as well. Like the other thing is a Nortel system. That's probably if you're not going to have people with cell phones, that's probably the way you're going to want to go. For the simple reason is you can have a pager system put in with it, and a lot of things that perhaps it really depends on what's going to be best for your business. If you're going to have a business where you're going to have a lot of salespeople going out and you're not going to really have many people in the office at once, Ring Central might be probably the way to go. If it's going to be a business where nobody's going to really be leaving the office, everybody's going to be working in the office, your cheaper bet will probably be the Nortel system, because you can buy it, have it in your business, and you don't have to pay for it every month, and you'll get your money's worth out of it. It really all depends on what you want to do, but that's what I would recommend, depending on what type of business structure you have. How can I get certified for a career in IT? Well, I'm not sure what exactly you're planning to do. If you're looking to do computer repair work, obviously probably your A+ is probably the most recognizable computer repair cert out there. If you're looking to do Linux as Linux Plus, If you want to do Microsoft, obviously there's tons of Microsoft exams out there. Just pick one and go with it depending on what you want to do. If you're looking to do security, obviously Security Plus or SANS. There's a lot of options out there as far as certification for your IT career. I myself have a ton of them, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or to submit me a question. I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. I want to make sure you get on the right track so you don't waste your time and your money. Why won't my router allow me to visit a certain site? Well, it might not be your router. It might be your ISP. You might have a DNS issue. Go into the router and see whose DNS it's using. I would recommend using Google's DNS on the router. The other issue is if you want to see if you're having an issue with your ISP, go into your computer, go into your settings, and change your DNS to Google's DNS and see if that makes a difference. Those are two things you could do. And the last question, what software do you recommend for doing my taxes? It's that time of year again, isn't it? What I would recommend with the whole taxes piece, you can use TurboTax. They're pretty good. You can use. There's so many of them out there. Well, if you've been using QuickBooks all year long, you can use QuickBooks to do your taxes. The Microsoft has another product out there. I think it's Microsoft. Microsoft's got a product as well you can use. There's so many of them out there. Probably TurboTax is going to be the cheapest bet. You can get it for like $24. There's so many products, but TurboTax has a reputable name. And the other thing too with them, they also are insured. So if there is an issue with the taxes, you can go back to them. And also they let you ask questions online and stuff, or maybe some of your smaller vendors might not allow you to do that. So I'd recommend TurboTax. I want to thank everybody for listening this week. And I wanted to inform everybody that next week I actually have a family event, so we may not be able to do the show again next week. We may have to skip next week. I don't know yet. We'll see how my personal schedule goes. I would hate to not do the show, but we will see what happens as far as that goes. I know Friday I do have some obligations at night I have to take care of for a club that I'm a part of, and then Saturday I have a family event I'm going to, and then Sunday I'm going to have some family over from the event. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get the radio show done next week. So if we do skip next week, I do apologize, and I won't even be able to have anybody to fill in for me because the two people that would fill in with me are going to be at the family event. So if we do have to skip next week, I am sorry, but we will do our best to try to do the show if we can. But I don't know right now. I doubt it. But if we don't, I apologize. But if we do, even better yet. So I want to thank everybody for listening, and it is as always, it's always a pleasure to all of our listeners and all that type of stuff, and we're glad to have everybody listening and enjoying the show. And again, it's the technologygeek.org, and you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at LePannyTech, and also our YouTube channel. You can find all of our videos, all of our podcasts. And thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you next week, if not the week after that. Thank you very much.